say Amiable Governor Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa has proven this to be true. Since Governor Ayedatiwa came on board as Governor of the Sunshine State, development strides have continued unabated. The Deep Sea Port project is still in progress, which will open vast opportunities for the people of the state, economically and in every way. Ayetoro Seaport Incursion recovery is ongoing to make life bearable for the people. Provision of jetties to aid transportation on sea, return of school shuttle buses, and provision of more buses for students and pupils alike, especially in this trying economic hardship, is a welcome development. Provision of standard health facilities, recruitment of more health professionals and teachers across all 18 local government areas of the state, just to mention a few. Let's join hands with Governor Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa as he continues to lead and harness all resources towards good governance and sustainable development of the Sunshine State. Odatiwa Odiron.
Ojúmọ́rọ́ àgbàdé o. Ẹ jẹ́ tí ẹ gbọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ àgbà bí ó ṣe lówùrọ̀, ó pẹ́ títí, á ṣe lọ́jọ́ alẹ́.
Where we analyze issues having to do with the state of affairs in the Nigerian state and of course also in Ondo State. I am Sunday Kolawole and it's State of the State on this channel. Today we'll be taking a closer look at hunger protests and interventions of the Ondo State government, the takeaways and projections from the development. On the conversation, let me quickly welcome the Senior Special Assistant to Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa on Public Enlightenment, Mr. Olufemi Lawson. It's good to have you. Also here is Assistant to Governor Ayedatiwa Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Tommy Rido. Thank you for joining me. It's my pleasure. All right, gentlemen, let's start. Since the day of August 2024, young people, old people, across generations, they came together and said, look, there is going to be hunger protests. In fact, they take days of rage to last between the 1st of August to the 10th of August. It led to wanton destruction of property in certain states, led to many other demonstrations in many other states. In those states, nothing happened. At least that's what we saw everywhere. Let me start from you. You are the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Public Enlightenment. How did it happen that protests didn't happen in those states? What magic did government do? Or there was no hand of government in it?
It was not about magic.
Okay.
And government per se did not have a hand in whether it should have happened or not.
Okay.
What you witnessed in Ondo State is a product of leadership. Leadership in the sense that we have a government that is not disconnected from the people. Most of the issues raised, around the protest are usually issues of mistrust, lack of communication between citizens and government. Before August 1st, Nigerians, particularly the young people using the social media, have raised questions about so many things that they think they deserve answer from government. At some point, the federal government came out, the president came out and spoke about what the administration is doing to cushion the effect of some of these issues that the young people and Nigerians are raising. That was followed up by a series of engagement by members of the cabinet, by governors, by other stakeholders in government to let the people know what is being done. So what happened in Ondo State is a direct result of steps taken by the Ondo State government and
of steps taken by the Ondo State government.
Prior to
Yet you say there was no hand of government in preventing that, but
no,
it's a
in
product
organizing,
of good.
yes, in determining whether it
Is it old or not?
Of course.
I'll come back to you. I can tell me that I like to know, and honestly too, he did say that the governor had no hand in why it did not happen. Yeah. But what happened between the 26th of July, 27th, 28th, up until the end of July that culminated into the fact that protests did not hold in Ondo State?
Thank you very much. You see, for me, I would say the non-participation of Ondo State residents in the nationwide protest is a direct vote of confidence on the leadership of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. And how do I mean? The organizers of this nationwide protest has tagged it "End Bad Governance." But the people of Ondo State can see that Governor Aiyedatiwa has only been 7 months in the saddle and there is no bad governance. So what is there to protest against as far as the state is concerned? Of course, there are some issues caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. That's not the fault of Governor Aiyedatiwa. So the people have a mutual connection with their governor. The governor and some stakeholders engage the people. See, let's get it clearly.
Engage
the Ondo State governor and government and stakeholders engaged people not to be involved in a violent protest. Okay. The governor is the leader of the state. He swore an oath of office to defend the constitution. So there is no way he can prevent people from carrying out the right to peaceful assembly, which is guaranteed in Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. So the governor will not tamper with the constitutional right of the people, but he engaged them not to be, not to be used by external forces to destabilize the state. But
now both of you agree that
but the people now understood that, look, there's even no reason to even assemble at all.
Was it the people that said there was no reason to assemble at all,
yes,
or a product of what both of you have termed engagement?
The governor
now, is this engagement a political engagement or a financial engagement?
The governor engaged that the people should not engage in violent protest.
That
they have the constitutional right to protest.
All right, just a moment.
But the people said, look, we are not even.
These engagements, was it a political engagement? Was it financial engagement? Was it a spiritual engagement? What is the engagement?
Basically, it is aimed at, while in the first place we have issues between citizens and government, it's because there's usually no communication. Okay. But what the governor did, and not by designating duties, not by even constituting committee, for days the governor took charge by physically engaging with citizens, not on political basis. In actual, at no time did they even meet groups as members of political parties. These were forum organized to meet stakeholders, the artisans, the students, the youth, women, even religious organizations. And basically what the government was doing is to let them know what the government of Ondo State has been doing, particularly since it came on board, to cushion effect of some of the issues that have been raised. In Ondo State, for instance, for years, students were never having bursary and scholarship. And for a child you send to school, would naturally complain of hunger because the little money you are giving to him is not enough to eat because he has to cater for himself. But now that the same government is providing bursary and scholarship for that student, you're already addressing hunger because the child now has more money to spend in school on basic needs, including food. Okay. So governor did this, and other palliative measures that the government has embarked upon, about supporting farmers, about initiatives in, expanding, supporting business owners, and so these are the issues that naturally made the people of Ondo State feel like good. It was not just about hunger, it was about governance. Like you said, it was tagged end bad governance. Then how do you end a government that is responsive, that is responding to the yearnings and
gentlemen, I've been asking you.
No choice than
I've been asking you to know what type of engagement the government
it's purely civic,
with the people, because there was speculations on these nations that money wasn't shared among the groups that the governor had a meeting with.
Unfortunately for those who hold that opinion, every meeting's held. Every meeting's held in the course of the process leading to August 1st were held openly.
Were you there?
Of course, not just openly. I was not only there. The media covered virtually. There was no private meeting between the governor and any group. Every meeting were attended by even the media. Photographs were taken in your presence. People went back to that. So how would it have been possible for governor to want to induce a group of people and bring camera and bring the media into it? So if there's anybody that has presented even a little of evidence about how Ondo State government gave money to any group of individual not to protest, it's a free word. In fact, this would have been trending on the social media.
Interestingly, you were also on the social media. In fact, you were on a particular thread of comments and all these issues on social media where someone was saying, where are the comrades in Ondo State? Someone was saying that the comrades have been bought over, and that is why there was no protest. No. What happened to the comrades in Ondo State? He said that there was no money given to them. How did it happen?
The comrades of Ondo State are not they are sensible people. Ondo State is renowned as a state of the home of intellectuals. So like I said, the governor and the government of Ondo State had a civic engagement with stakeholders from different sectors of the state, tendered the records of achievement of the governor, tendered what he had done. The 530 million naira paid for WAEC school fees, 2 billion naira for food security, the 20 kilometers of internal roads that has just been approved for reconstruction, the agric roads that leads to that cocoa agric road that has been approved, and a lot of other ongoing interventions that are going on, both short-term solutions and long-term solutions were provided. So the people merely had a mutual consonance with the government.
Is it true that this issue was seen as an engagement of Ondo State government and not as a general matter? Is it
economic hardship we are facing is the removal of fuel subsidy and floating of the naira. These two actions were taken by the federal government.
It affects also
it affects everybody, but yes.
So why then is it that, to be honest, shouldn't that protest have also happened in Ondo State?
But the people...
Or is Ondo State not part of Nigeria?
You know we are approaching a governorship election in Ondo State. The people of Ondo State passed a vote of confidence.
Are you by any means saying that because there's going to be an election, then it was influenced not to hold?
No, it was not influenced. The people had a mutual agreement within themselves that, look, there is no reason to distract the government with protests that are susceptible to being hijacked by people that do not wish the state well. Okay. So the people refused to be used as arms of destabilization in the state.
Okay, let me know if you also agree that it should have been held in Ondo State.
Well, why the protest is not hold?
No, do you agree it should have held?
No, protest can hold anytime.
Okay.
You know, protest is a civic right. You know, it's constitutionally guaranteed. But you also agree with me that at no time, even during the said period of August 1st till now, as any agency of government, agents of government, or any state institution or authority being used to barricade the road, prevent people from coming out, or prevent people from assembling. So majorly it is just the decision of the people.
Nobody barricaded the road?
No,
In those states?
Yes, no, I'm not sure.
Did you go around the early stage of the protest? Did you go around?
I was all over the street.
Did you visit some police stations? Did you see some roads that were barricaded by security operatives?
No, I said agents of Ondo State government.
Okay.
I'm not saying security agents.
Okay, agents of the Ondo State government.
Security agencies
Officials
have
of the
a
Ondo
duty
State government.
to protect the state. They have duty to protect lives and properties of citizens. Security agents work on the directives of their authorities from Abuja. The government is not in control of the state, apart from Amotepo. The government does not control the DSS, the police, or other security agencies that you can find on the road or on August 1st. So I mean, there was no institution of Ondo State government engaged or seen anywhere preventing people from freely expressing themselves or assembling, even when people felt there should have been a protest. So naturally, it tells you that it is the decision of the people
to toe that line.
Yes.
Let's quickly take a look at the demands of these agitators or protesters, whichever nomenclature we're taking for them, and see how reasonable are these demands. The first on the list is the scrapping of a 1999 constitution to replace it with a people-made constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through a sovereign national conference immediately followed by a national referendum. How reasonable is that? Let me start with you.
You see, as a former lawmaker, there are processes to this. I am someone that it resonates with me that we need a better constitution.
Okay.
I have said that severally, but we do not need a protest to do that. What we need is that Nigerian electorates should pay more attention to the caliber of people that they support and vote into legislative offices. Because that is where the constitutional amendment happens, the National Assembly and the two-thirds majority of state assemblies. So during elections, let's not turn it into an avenue to jamboree and laugh, and just take it with levity. Let us scrutinize people that have deep understanding of legislative framework. Let us support them to enter the National Assembly and state assemblies. Then we can hold them responsible and say, look, we want a better constitution, give it to us. Okay. So you do not vote people who do not have understanding of parliamentary procedures into office, and then less than a year after you're on the street saying they should want a new constitution.
Well, should the parliament be a part-time thing or a full-time thing? That will be my next question when we return from the very short break. Please do stay with us, everyone. State of the State continues shortly. I'll be back.
After so much anticipation, August 1, the D-Day for the commencement of the planned 10-day nationwide protest in Nigeria, finally arrived. On the streets of Akure, Ondo State capital, the signs of the beginning of an unusual day are evident. Early morning race for the daily task is absent as few human and vehicular movement dot the streets. The streets, however, witness the presence of security operatives manning strategic locations and those on patrol. Some sections of the road were also barricaded by law enforcement agencies with a signal that no room for any breakdown of law and order. While there were no signs of protesters hitting the streets under any guise, somewhere beside a major road within the city, it's football fiesta, as some youths who would under normal circumstances be racing to attend to customers at their business outlets took time to sweat it out on the field while their shops remained closed for fear of the unknown. But as the day's clock ticks, more vehicular and human presence began to ply roads, with some residents commenting on the protest.
This is my goose. So I go to a normal place where I used to sell my market. So reaching there, nothing is happening. Everywhere I just stand still. So I stayed there, nobody is coming. I say, let me go and pack my goods and go and rest. So there is nothing I can do about it. So these 10 days, it will affect everybody, including me.
Because I'm not coming out for the protest, because I'm seeing some people that they are not really involved.
Some residents also bore their minds on the need for Nigerians to embrace peace despite the seeming displeasure with current situation in the country.
Ó lè sọ pé ìlú ò dáa lóòótọ́, bọ̀ kò ń ṣe jàgídíjàgan, òun la máa fi ṣe. À bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run kó tu àwọn ìjọba wa kó tu wọn nínú, wọ́n lè ṣe. Then concerning Ondo State, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà wa gan tó provide adequate security. Torí fún àṣàyé, gbogbo àwọn junction yẹn làwọn ọlọ́pàá wà tán dẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ wọn bí iṣẹ́ wọn. Mo tún dúpẹ́ náà lọ́wọ́ commissioner of police torí ó provide adequate security fún ìlú yìí. Torí mo ti lọ káàkiri nsìn, kò síbi tí wọ́n ti ń jà, kò síbi tí wọ́n ti ń protest.
It remains to be seen what the next day holds, but the assurance from security agencies remains. No room for breakdown of law and order in Ondo State. Sahid Arabisala, Osrc News.
Then sights and sounds from the commencement of the nationwide protests and what obtained in Ondo State on the first and second days of the protest. So thank you for still being with me on the Outlook State of the State. Of course, the two gentlemen are still here with me on this conversation. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Ondo State on Public Enlightenment, Olufemi Lawson. Thank you for still being with me. Former lawmaker, now Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on ICT. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, let's. We were talking about the demands of these protesters, and he did say that, of course, it's a constitutional matter that shouldn't have happened on the streets, but at the legislature level. Now, in 2014, there was a national conference. Indeed, a sovereign national conference, so to say, because of the configuration. Over 600 recommendations were generated from that conference. The conversation seems to be a dead one, as it were currently. Many people believe that this could have solved the majority of the problems that are now listed in the demands of these protesters. What do you say?
You see, for this demand, I've seen several versions of these demands by protesters, and that is why a lot of times when we talk about leadership, people want to take it for granted. One of the deficiencies of this current protest being organized is the fact that every time you talk about leadership, the mob says, oh, we don't need a leader, there's no leadership. When the government is ready to engage, that is why you find all versions of these demands. And there's no way government can treat these demands the way it is. We have led protests in the past, myself, or Bakito Media, some other persons, and we have our approach to these issues. We must be specific with our demands. Now the government has opened the option of the room for dialogue after the state broadcast by the president. Come, let's see. Which versions of these demands are we going to be discussing about? There must be leadership. Okay. You cannot have this kind of movement without a leadership. Then who do the government talk to? Number two is the fact that, just like you said, in 2014, we had one of the best convergence of the best of Nigerians when President Jonathan in 2014 convened this national conference. I was privileged to work in the secretariat of that conference through my late boss, Comrade Yinka Odumakina. I saw the work done by that committee in producing that report of the National Congress, over 800 pages. And I can tell you that that document, if put into use as we speak, we address not less than 75% of this demand, including the reform of INEC, anti-corruption, constitutional amendment, and all work. So instead of bringing up, I think we need to do a lot further of research and education that we know that they say, why don't we begin to ask? And if you have followed this administration, you will realize that President Tinubu has already taken even some content, some recommendations. Osrc report was a product of the recommendation of that national conference. A lot of people don't know. So the government itself is already taking serious recommendations from that document. Why, instead of calling for a new national conference, why instead of talking about the constitutional amendment, why are we not looking into, asking the government to bring out the 2014 that was officially submitted to the President of Nigeria? It's still a document, one of those handed over to the previous administration. Let us bring it out. Let us begin to discuss it as citizens and government. Those areas that we can, in the immediate, use to address our issues, those areas in the short term, in the long term, that we will address our issues. Like I said, 75% of issues confronting us today are already discussed. Let me give you an example. Issue of agriculture. I've always of the opinion that the federal government has no business in agriculture. Federal government does not own farms. It's only import fertilizer and distribute to states. The state government plays the key role in the development of agriculture.
How well is the state government also playing that role?
Very importantly, let me give you an instance. In the last couple of months, I know you must be aware that 40% of tomato consumed in the biggest perishable market in Lagos, mature market, has been coming from Ondo State. Even as a citizen, I used to think tomatoes consumed come from the north and other part that we have been importing from. But today, not less than 40% of tomato consumed or sold on that market are probably from Ondo State. The government has deliberately...
Yet it is expensive in Ondo State.
That is why the intervention of Ondo State is what is crashing tomato price. I don't know if you follow this. Because we started this production recently.
Where it is still expensive.
Not like
not
what
as
we had
expensive
2 months
as it
ago.
was, but it's still expensive.
Yes, it is becoming less expensive because of this intervention. If various states can also do this, invest more in agriculture, you understand? Just like part of the recommendation of 2014 National Conference, leave agriculture for the states. It is the state government that had the authority over the lands, not Abuja. Then how do you sit in Abuja? And these are the issues that we can take out of the 2014.
So many things we still need to talk about,
this
gentlemen. Now, let's look at something. These whole protests has a lot to do with the young people. Right. And in all sincerity, would you say that the Aiyedatiwa administration has specifically done something to improve or better the lots of youth in Ondo State, on the streets of Akure or Ibokoda? Can you say that there's something we can really point at that the Aiyedatiwa administration is doing to better their lot, to be able to now say that, look, there was a protest, please do not participate because it could be hijacked?
Thank you very much. Like the SSC on public enlightenment said earlier, the scholarship and bursary that was approved by the Ondo State government for students of tertiary universities, who forms 95% of tertiary institutions. Is it not the youth? So that is a direct intervention. That is a direct intervention for the youths of the state. So I also spoke about the payment of WAEC fee for secondary school SS3 students. Does that not form the fulcrum of the youth?
These are issues of approvers.
Yes.
As the implementation commenced?
Yes. Yes. Even recently, last week, Osopadek.
How many
even recently.
If you are saying the implementation has commenced, how many students, how many youth?
Even recently, last week, Osopadek confirmed students coming, youths and students from the mandate areas got payment for bursary. Confirmed payment.
So, if I'm a youth, I'm a young person, and I'm not going to school, does that mean that I have nothing to benefit from?
Thank you. And that is where my role, just newly approved by the governor, comes in. ICT sector. That is what we want to focus on now. We want to produce thousands of youths with IT skills so that they can have a career in tech. So we want to foster
career in tech.
Yes.
Beyond solar power,
no.
Emplacement. Because that has been what on those states has been focusing on
that's not
in the last few years, so to say.
We are going to revolutionize the ICT sector. We want to build a vibrant ICT industry. Governor Aiyedatiwa has given me a mandate. He said by 2028, he wants Ondo State to be one of the African sub-regions that will be known all over the world to be advanced, to be at the forefront of advanced technology.
It's one thing to have that mandate, another thing to be able to implement the mandate.
The blueprint is very we implement
who are you to be able to really implement that mandate? And when I say who are you, I mean who are you in the ICT world to be able to implement this mandate?
You see, people do not understand how government works. You do not need to be a tech expert to be in charge of ICT. What you need is experience in public service and managerial skills. I don't have to be a coder or a programmer or a developer or a data analyst, even though I'm very fast in digital media, but I do not need to do that because the ICT is very broad. So what are you, for example, now, for example, to be a governor, to be a president, you don't have to be a graduate or an expert in political science. What you have to do is you have to have the intelligence, you have to have the passion, you have to have a kind of like conviction to assemble a very formidable team. Know where to put round peg in round holes.
How would you know if you are being misled in the area of data analysis, coding, web development, and all of that? If you do not have basic knowledge, or science.
I am a graduate of mass communication, and you know that digital media forms a very major component in mass communication. So I am not at all new to that area. But what matters most is for you to be educated and for you to be vibrant and versatile. That's the most important thing. So the youths of Ondo State will be having a lot of economic opportunities in the tech sector very, very soon.
Your point is well made. Mr. Lawson, you are in charge of public enlightenment. I'd like to know, something is really, really raging in Nigeria now. The federal government says trucks and trucks of rice sent to states. In fact, in certain states, there are issues surrounding that. Where is the portion of Ondo State people?
But for us, one of the essence of this public enlightenment bureau is to ensure that there's constant communication between the citizens and government.
Very well.
That is one way you can build trust. That's one way your government can be seen to be transparent and accountable to the citizen. For Ondo State, everything that has been given to support the state, either from the state itself or by the federal government, are transparently distributed, not on the streets, but through the appropriate institutions, groups, and stakeholders.
Institutions, groups, and stakeholders. How insulated are these groups from political coloration? Because there are insinuations that only the members of APC are benefiting from this politics.
That's not correct. That's not correct. And I've even seen on the media, including your TV station, where even religious organizations, where professional organizations, even artisan groups have been seen sharing some of these items that has been given by the state. And it's a continuous process. It is not what the government has done entirely. Even the government, as a state government, has been doing its own share out of what support we got from the federal government in supporting the people. And beyond even these opportunities coming from bursary, scholarship, ICT employment, government is also providing support for young people who are interested in farming. As we speak, government is clearing lands and providing inputs for people who are interested in farming. Government is giving loan through the Youth Empowerment Scheme. These are a lot of the things that government is doing currently.
How many trucks did Ondo State government get from the
Specifically, there is a committee in charge of that. But
are you confirming that Ondo State got trucks of rice already?
I cannot confirm if we have gotten entirely what the federal government, because it's not it is not a one-off distribution. Okay. You understand?
So there was a particular delivery?
There must have been some portion of this product delivered.
You said 6?
I think in phases.
Okay, in phases. Yes. Oh, okay. So you are confirming, gentlemen, that it's in phases, and that does not preclude the fact that there must have been a delivery, as it were.
Yeah, sure. There have been deliveries.
Where are those deliveries?
There are no. Ondo State government is not keeping rice. It's not we are not saying rice. Okay. Whenever anything comes, as long as it is for the people, it goes to the people. And that is the standard practice.
Okay then.
And the people, when I say goes to the people, they are targeted group. These items are meant for the most vulnerable among us. Okay. It is not rice to be shared for people like you and I. It is usually for the most vulnerable among us, the people who are underprivileged.
How do you determine the vulnerability of the people in a society where
you can
data is a very big problem?
Even merely walking on the street. I know data is an issue, but merely walking on the street, you can easily identify a man who needs food even more than a man who is sick. Yes, it's easier to identify a man who has not eaten than a man who has fever. So these are the approaches, and like I said, government is engaging community, engaging organizations in identifying these people and distributing.
A few more minutes we have on this engagement, and I like to go a bit personal, if you permit me, gentlemen. Now, on the record, you are in APC today, and it's like 6 months ago you just joined the APC. Now you are senior special assistant to the governor on ICT. How much of this government do you really know to be able to make impact in this administration? How much of the philosophy of the APC do you agree with or disagree with?
I'm not sure if you remember that only last year I just left the House of Assembly after serving for 4 years. So I'm a part of the government.
But not as a member of the APC?
It's not the government is not a party secretariat. It's government. I was an elected lawmaker, the foremost legislative institution in the state. So I'm a senior member of the state government as a lawmaker. So every business of government, of the state government, the executive comes to the house. So for 4 years, I have deep knowledge and experience in the business of government. So especially in Nigerian politics, party membership is just like when you put off your blazers and nothing. What matters most is keying into the vision of the driver. And the driver today is Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. And that's why I joined the APC. If my interest in politics is to contribute meaningfully to the development of my state, party membership should not hold me back. So when the Governor Aiyedatiwa came on board, I knew that this is a man that I can work with and that has a passion for the development of the state.
So then, how much of his leadership styles do you agree with or disagree with?
So far, so good. I have not seen one that I am in disagreement with. Only when I see it, I will come back to tell you.
Oh, I hope you have the to be able to say that you disagree with them, especially in Nigeria where they say you don't talk when you're eating.
I was a member of the House of Assembly when I disagreed with the speaker, the former speaker. Have you forgotten?
That's what you were eating.
We don't eat in the House of Assembly. We make laws.
Let's leave that as it is. Mr. Lawson, I'm back to you. My findings show that you're not resident in Ondo State. How do you intend to perform the requirements of your office as public enlightenment officer?
I've been resident in Ondo State. I'm from Ondo State. I'm from Oderele in Ondo State. I've lived all my life.
I'm talking about current term.
I've lived all my life in Ondo State. I've been resident here since September 2023, when the battle for the survival of democracy in Ondo State was put to test. And before that, I have had businesses here. And it is my job that has made me not to live within the state before now. But I've been actively involved in citizens' education in Ondo State for more than 12 years, since the days of former Governor Olusegun Mimeko. We ran, an ICT team here, just on the other side of the road here. And we've had a lot of reasons to engage with the citizens. So I've been practically, in and out of Ondo State, and not Akure, I mean every part of Ondo State in the last 12 years. So I'm very familiar with it.
So currently, where are you resident?
I'm resident in Akure.
So then, that destination is not true, is what you're saying?
No, of course I'm resident in
Akure. Not resident in Akure.
That's why I'm in your studio now.
Okay.
This is not being taken virtually.
Beyond being resident here, many people also want to know what exactly has been the impact of the Aiyedatiwa administration in the development of the state, especially in the northern central district of the state. There are concerns that development seems to be centralized in the central and also taken to the south somehow, perhaps because of the origin of the governor. What do you say to that?
If anybody is talking about the origin of the governor, this governor is barely 7 months as a governor of Ondo State, even though he has been part of the immediate past administration. But remember, as a deputy governor who has little power in influencing most of the policies or decisions of government, except as assigned by the then governor. For 7 months, we have seen that the government made a critical decision in prioritizing the people's welfare, especially when you talk about the welfare of workers and other category of citizens. Then moving forward to infrastructure, because you can only build road for people who can buy cars and eat. So government sets its priority. The Aiyedatiwa government is setting the welfare of the people as a priority while working to developing the state. So if people think 7 months is a long time, it is not too short a time really to make impact, and that is why the impacts are being seen. But the government is determined
where
to
are
make
this
more
impact
impact.
being seen? When we're
I've
talking
just
about
mentioned-
geographical distribution of the impact.
The geographic, I'm not sure as we speak that this government can be held liable for allocating projects to one senatorial district more than the other as we speak. Except you want to give me factual, evidences of how this government has taken projects to some part of the state and neglected any other part of the state. Governor Ayedatiwa has said it is committed to the equal distribution of development, wealth, and of course the growth of the state. And he has been demonstrating that. If you look at even his appointment, if you look at his commitment to the welfare of workers and all the promises that have been made, this is a statewide interest.
Then the crux of the conversation is how well placed is the Northern Senatorial District in the Ayedatiwa administration?
The Northern Senatorial District is not just only well placed, it's at one of the most advantaged position as we speak. We have the deputy governor coming from there. One of the top ministers in this administration, federal government, is from the north. Key government appointees, have been brought into this administration from the north. And the government consistently, even more than the south, where he hails from, engage stakeholders from the north.
Someone will tell you that what you're talking about is just political patronage. How about developmental initiatives that will benefit the common man?
Like I said,
on the streets
there is
of
an agenda.
On the streets of Akoko, on the streets of Obagi.
Whatever has been done now in the last 7 months are majorly towards completing some of the legacies of his predecessors. Like he said when he came on board, Governor Ayedatiwa was not coming to abandon any project that was ongoing, just like you say with the flyover and some other critical infrastructures. So if there have been uneven distribution of this project in the past, it is not for Governor Ayedatiwa to come and stop it. He's committed to completing it. But if this government is starting any new project moving forward, you can be assured that these are going to be evenly distributed, and it's committed to that.
Okay, now still talking about the interventions of the Ondo State government in the state, especially in ensuring that the people have better deal in the enjoyment of dividends of democracy. I'd like to know from you, Senior Special Assistant to Governor Ayedatiwa on ICT, how well do you think this administration stands in the perception of the people? You did mention the other time that it's an election year and no government want a destabilization of public trust. Do the people really trust the administration so much that they will say that they are sticking it out for him in the forthcoming governorship election?
I want to state unequivocally that in the recent history of the state, there has been no governor that has enjoyed so much tremendous goodwill and confidence, public confidence, like Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa. And the reason is simple. When he was deputy governor, the people can notice his style, they notice his disposition, they notice his loyalty to his late boss, they notice the way he carries himself in public, they notice the way he exhibits his assignments dispassionately. And so they trust him, and now that he's on board, he has done a number of social interventions for the people. So the November 16th election, for me, it's going to be a walkover, and that's what majority of the people are saying.
You think so?
I know so to be.
I'm asking because there are also reports everywhere talking about defection of members of your party, your new party, the APC, to your former house, like People's Democratic Party, the PDP. So then, what exactly gives you the notion that it's going to be a walkover?
Give me two prominent members of the APC that has defected to the PDP recently.
Why do you prefer?
I will tell you that.
Why do you prefer
I will tell you that.
Prominent? Why do you prefer the previous prominent?
Because
is one member more prominent than another member in the party?
Because in politics, it's about followership. When you are prominent, it means you have followers. That is it. So if you are just a member of a party and you wake up in the morning and say, I'm leaving the party, goodbye and good luck. You have only one vote. But if you are a prominent member, you could have hundreds or thousands of followers or supporters.
Is not bothered by the value.
The party is waxing stronger. A former state woman leader of PDP, Madam Esther Ibiwojuni, just decamped only 2 days ago in Okitipupa. What are we talking about? And I can assure you, within the next 3 to 5 weeks, you are going to see the mother of all defections from PDP to the APC.
How will that translate into walkover, as you term it.
I have said it consolidates the chance of the governor. The party is already strong. People have confidence in the administration. Then more people, the already weak opposition is getting more depleted. So what are we talking about?
Let's come to the issue of governance again. Recently, the Ondo State government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, did in place a subsidized market right in the Ministry of Agriculture, Alagbaka Akure. Many people are concerned. How will that tackle the issue of food insufficiency? Are you saying that the people from Ilaide should come and buy in Alagbaka, or those from Akoko should come and buy in Alagbaka? Is that going to really percolate to the grassroots to really deal with the issue of hunger in the land?
That is just one of the measures. Like I said, it is targeted at the demography around there. When you look at the population around there, it is not expected that you live or live in Ibaroke to come and make purchase for vegetable and rice in Alagbaka. This is just one of the measures that government is taking. Just like it is also doing some other things in Ilaje that it could be doing in Ikare, that we can also be doing in Owo. Government is engaging its institutions, particularly the various ministry and political appointees, to also at their various localities look at things that can be done in the immediate communities to palliate the current experiences of our people. So it is not expected that we all converge or march to Alagbaka to make purchase because there are cheaper items there. It is just one of the many measures. Like I said, this problem is not all about giving rice and soup. It's about doing things that will empower the people enough to be able to feed, not looking for government rice and vegetable. When government is making you pay less on your child by ensuring that it's giving scholarship and bursary, then you have more money to cook soup. When government is out providing shuttle bus for your children to go to school, it means you are saving more money, to cook soup. So there are things that government can do that can put more money in your pocket without necessarily giving you rice and vegetable, and that is the NATIWA approach. Now, like I said, government is clearing land for people who are interested in farming. Government is providing inputs. Government is not just going to clear land for you. Government is supporting with your input. Government is giving, loan to people who are interested and have verifiable businesses. Government, as we speak, is empowering the young people. A lot of, loan, a lot of subsidies have been given over the last couple of days by government. So that is just one of the many initiatives of government as ensuring that, of course, the people get succor in the face of the current challenge.
Before we bring the conversation to a close, just still with the Ministry of Agriculture, there is this subsidized mechanization of farms that was put out recently. But many are saying that why is it not outrightly an intervention of government? Why should people still pay before they get their farms tractorized and all of that?
It's an intervention of government, and if you look at whatever has been done today, it's bringing a lot of relief to farmers, especially when you look at what our farmers have had to go through, getting their farms cultivated, getting their produce to the market, and all. So this will naturally help in increasing productivity.
Okay then.
And when you increase productivity, the farmer becomes richer, even the government,
because of our time in 60 seconds, what should young people expect from your agency under your leadership now?
They should be expecting government partnership with the tech ecosystem in fostering economic opportunities for them and in advancing their IT skills. Good. And the state generally should be expecting in the digitalization of the state governance and enhancement in electronic governance.
Electronic governance. Okay then, the people will be expecting all of this you've talked about. Honorable Tomide Akinribido, thank you so much for coming to this.
My pleasure.
Of course, it's been, it must have been a funny ride from the legislature to the executive. I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
I'll still be looking forward to coming back to talk.
Of course, there will be issues that we'll be bringing up in the coming days. Olufemi Lawson, thank you so much, SSA on Public Enlightenment. Thank you for coming to the States. Everyone, this is the size of it. Of course, we've been able to touch on issues surrounding the intervention of the Ondo State government in the so-called hunger protests that started on the 1st of August. Of course, in some places it's still ongoing till the 10th of August. In Ondo State, it did not hold